This is the resolution.
No, I have the
This
resolution.
resolution, that's just the attachment.
I made copies of the resolution.
You want to read it, Hope?
Sure. Whereas the Comptroller of the Town of Rye has requested that the Town Board make proper budget transfers to the 2010 budget, which would account for the allocation of the budgetary accounts, and whereas the Comptroller of the Town of Rye has requested authority from the Town Board to execute budget transfers. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Rye authorizes the Town Comptroller to make modification and transfer request to the 2010 budget per attachment A as follows. And you have the as follows.
Okay. Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve this resolution.
Second?
Second.
Gelfar,
Aye.
Mendocino,
Aye.
Naoris,
Aye.
Villanova,
Yes.
Corbin.
Yes.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks so much, David.
The only other thing I wanted to mention is that the audit process for Rye-Town Park is starting at the end of the month, and will be followed by the audit for the town of Rye. So we're on schedule with our reports, and we'll be starting
How are we
field
coming
work.
with our analysis of the outstanding collectibles and all that?
There was a in your bin there was a distribution of the receivables summary, and we're really on target. We've collected quite a bit of money in December in the tax receiver's office for back taxes. So it was almost $700,000 that came in December, which is substantial. So we had due to the In-Rem work that was done in 2009 and again in 2010, the tax collections have been flat from year to year, and they're about 1.6% of the levy is outstanding. So that's a
Good number. Great. Okay, thanks, Mr. Byrnes.
Okay.
Mr. Mecca?
Honorable Supervisor Carvin, honorable members of the Town Board, all I'm going to do tonight is just to remind everybody in our audience and at home audience that it's time to pay the second half of the school tax. If you don't have a mortgage and you're responsible, you should have a blue bill that looks like this. If you don't, please contact us. And then right behind that, because we will not meet again until February, Rye Brook, second payment of the village taxes will be due, and that is a yellow bill that will go out in the mail later on this week. Again, if you don't have either of these, please contact the office, because we really don't like to see anyone delinquent, because especially the school. At this time of year, it becomes a 10% penalty, which can be very high. So, and we are receiving people paying online with credit cards and ACH, not tremendously, but there are some coming through. And the back of the bills have the instructions. All you have to do is follow it. And from anyone that uses it, say it works very, very nice. You get
So
it.
you
get
now
a
pay with
receipt.
credit card.
Pardon?
Now I can pay with credit card.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Not in the office, because people come in. Because of the security factor, it must be done online, because that must clear. It takes a few days before that's deposited in our account. That must clear their billing cycle. So if they came into the office and paid, we wouldn't know that. We would have to wait to give them for us to receive the money. So this works out beautifully. I know there's a fee, but some people are using it, so they may need to do so. But like one fellow is paid his second half, or his first half, which would have been 10% because he's late. So the fee, I'm sure, was not 10% on the credit card, so he came out ahead. So, okay, any questions, please call the office. The numbers are on the bills. We are here every day and there to serve you.
Well, I want to thank you, Mr. Mecca. I know the constituents at home like the fact that you've made, progressively upgraded the tax collection and then made it much easier to pay your taxes. So
Well, we
thank you.
try. You can see by the report, money has rolled in this last month. It's been pretty strong. And this is not our money. This money that goes to the schools and to
Right.
whatever we need to support as the town. So we appreciate whatever comes in, and we appreciate all the taxpayers being diligent to their payments.
Thanks so much, Mr. Mecca.
Thank you.
Mr. Nardi, you came on South Barry Bridge. Thanks so much. Thank you. Thanks for coming this evening. Thanks for that presentation. Yes, please.
Not to be rude, but we
Oh.
have the head of our, we should add the Parks Department on here, because I don't know if you wanted to invite.
You're absolutely right, and I apologize. Thank you. Thank you so much. You're absolutely right. We have the head of the Parks Department. I want to thank Frank for coming this evening. Did you have anything to report on? In fact, would you make sure that next month's...
Hope we will make the adjustment.
Hope, would just make sure I apologize.
To add that to the
I
comments.
specifically asked Frank to come, and we've left him off the invitation. So thank you, Frank, so much.
I'll make sure.
Good evening, Mr. Supervisor and the Town Board. Frank Deleo. I live in the city of Rye.
City of Rye?
Yeah, city
You
of Rye.
abandoned us,
Yeah.
huh?
Oh, yeah. As of, to date, myself and my staff have been doing a great job. For all the snow that we've been having, been working, trying to keep everything clean and safe for all the, residents who come here to pay their taxes. Also Crawford Park for all the parties and everything else. So we're trying to, keep up on the weather. And I have some other stuff that planned for the second floor downstairs. As soon as the bad weather stops, then we'll be able to start doing some stuff on the second floor and move forward, because we have a lot of stuff planned for this year. Hopefully, we can do that this year.
Well, thanks so much, Mr. DeLeo. One
Thank you.
question, I think, before we came up earlier tonight was the, people leaving things on the wall and that kind of thing at Crawford Park.
Well, as far as I know, the wallpaper guy, he was there about 2 weeks ago, Bishop. I think, yeah, he did. He took care of it. Was it Joe Glasso? Joe Glasso took care of it and fixed it all.
Well, I think that their worry is that we need to make sure that the people supervising the parties are more vigilant to prevent those kinds of
I have
things.
let the people know working the parties. Right now, the caretaker has been working the parties, because the man who was working the parties, Mr. Calavito, he's on our daytime staff, and now he's on vacation.
Okay.
So I will, let everybody know just to keep an eye out.
Terrific. Councilwoman Zini, I know do you want to?
No, I just want everyone in the public to know that they're not supposed to be putting tape on the wall. That's
I
why
know
we
that.
put up those lines going across when we redid the wall, so if anything wanted to be hung, they could be hung on those lines. And
We're also in a process, of getting in touch with a couple of carpenters, finished carpenters, put something permanently up there, but decorative, so that way you really can't see anything, by eye, and they can hang up everything that's permanently mounted on the wall, so that way there's no damage to the wallpaper or, the walls itself. So we're going to try our best.
I have a question. When you refer to the second floor, did you mean the second floor at Crawford Park? or
No,
the
second floor at Pearl
floor?
Street. There's some painting they're going to be doing, some replacing the ceiling tile. We tried to get to it in the last couple of weeks, but with the bad weather, it's only myself and my assistant that have been working, while the other gentleman is on vacation. So it's been kind of tough for us to, try to, get downstairs.
While you have a question, Mr. Supervisor, I understand one of our communications was that the Chamber of Commerce is relocating, and of course that is a loss to us, but again to Portchester. But now that that's happening, is there any thought as to what could be done at the second floor of Crawford Park to make things a little bit more compliant with modern-day building codes?
That's an excellent suggestion, and thank you for that comment. Yes, we're sorry to lose the Chamber of Commerce. I guess you're going to go to the Village of Portchester. Yes, there is. One of the issues that confronted the Chamber was that they had a full-time office there, and they were not really fire compliant. So what we talked about and are looking to do as part of this year's capital plan is to put in a fire well that effectively makes available the whole second floor for office space or and which we want to, again, provide to the public and the not-for-profits. So currently, we have an estimate of $75,000, which seems way too much for a fire escape. So Mr. Nowotnik has asked somebody to come and give us a quote. That was sort of, I think, the architectural analysis, and I think it's been designed in such a way that it must be,
Come on, what's wrong with
made
that
of
little
plate
ladder that you pull
Yeah,
out?
exactly. We were trying to get by with rope ladders, but apparently that's partially compliant. Only gets you so basically, thank you for the question. You're absolutely right. And so we are working on it, and hopefully by the next meeting we'll have a report on where we are, hopefully with a better quote on what it would cost to, as I say in Spanish, viabilize, make viable the whole second floor.
And I also been working with Superintendent Nardi on the beautification of the Continental Manor footbridge, on some shrubbery and plantings and a few other things that we're going to do this year to make it look nice, and also to not make the way it's right now. If somebody's walking on both sides of the bridge, correct me if I'm wrong, Tom, that a young kid or a young adult could jump over the side and into the water.
Okay.
So we're trying to put something there, like shrubbery or whatever, so that way it doesn't look inviting, and they can just, stay, on the top there.
Great. Thank you. Thanks, Mr. Deleo. Thanks very much. Mr. Arcaro, just want to, if you could, as the town ombudsman, could you just remind me, when are we having the Model American Community? We're transitioning from the Rye 350 celebration right into the Model American Community, so that Peter Disbro and his friends know that 351 years later, we haven't forgotten him.
Looking forward to a wonderful celebration on Thursday, February 24th at Crawford Park, beginning at 6:30, I believe.
All right. Now, again, in our historic pamphlet, how are we coming along with that?
Thank you. Commemorating the 350th year, the idea would be to share that wonderful history with a pamphlet that includes an update on the history from the 300th year, as well as giving due recognition to the businesses in the community, to the families in the community, as well as the nonprofits in the community. So I'd say at this point, Mr. Supervisor, we probably have close to 45 between those three sectors. I think we'd like a whole lot more, because there are a whole lot more in the town.
This is the thing. Again, if even the people in this room, and on the board even, the goal was to encourage each of the not-for-profits to provide us with their history for free, and that description of your not-for-profit would be incorporated into the town pamphlet. Ideally, we have, some 25 church houses of worship. We have a number of not-for-profit organizations ranging from the Old Timers, Knights of Columbus, just on this work, the Elks, Rotary, and the idea was to just really bring all that information together in one space, where we, in one fell swoop, you could see all the different community outreach organizations ranging from the houses of worship to the not-for-profits. And then, the idea was hopefully to begin to pull together a strategic plan for the town of Rye. What are the needs? What are the issues? What are the problems? And how do we begin to solve them? How do we, cohere? So anyway, it's for free. All you need to do is give us your history and information, and we'll incorporate it in the book. So please don't hesitate to contact
Right,
Mr.
absolutely. Either by mail, dropping it off, or mailing it here, or email in any form that's comfortable to.
And your town number is 914-939-3098.
Right.
So that's 939-3098. Call Mr. Arcaro and get a for free thing. Perfect. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Arcaro. Okay, comments from councilpersons, Mr.
I had one brief,
apologies.
I just wanted to give the board an update on the In-Rem for 2010. We started with 35 properties for whom we filed an In-Rem. 33 paid. One will make his final payment on Monday. They paid 90%, and one did not pay. So out of 35, we're going to end up owning one piece of property.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
So we'll have 2 properties that will auction off, then the one we took back today and the other one
Well,
that...
there actually is a few more. I think there were some issues, and I guess we'll get a report on some of those auction properties. Either they didn't go through or the buyer disappeared, so there's probably going to be 4 or 5.
All right, and...
If we do it again in June, and then next year we'll do another, the 08 In-Rems will start up.
Well, that's my question. So when do we, well, first of all, congratulations. Wonderful work, Mr. Noto. You're doing a terrific
That's
job.
probably the 700,000 that we,
Yeah, there's
part of
your,
it anyway, so
yeah,
that's
the
good.
cash infusion, which is absolutely terrific. Now, all this just kicks off again, right? 'Cause
Yeah,
we have
every
how
year.
many properties do we, and when does that start, in January?
next summer, in July.
And how many, Mr. Burns, how many,
Well, Nick would know.
well, or Mr.
Yeah, he didn't know
Mecca,
it today. but how many
In-Rem.
we'd give her- oh, the next round would be.
Well, we don't know. This is it. Money is coming in strong, and we keep...
but isn't it August? Don't we know?
Yeah, July we do the list. The liens go in July, and I'll have a list.
July's already, so we still have time to try and have everybody clean up before we
Right.
get to that stage.
Well, we're
Maybe
encouraging
always.
them, we're encouraging them to clean up sooner rather than later, so,
Yeah.
because otherwise you're paying huge penalty interest on these. Great. Well, that's wonderful work, Mr. Noto. Thanks so much. Anything else?
Those are-
Beautiful. Okay, Mr. Gelfar?
No,
Councilwoman Mancino?
I just have one question. In keeping with all that we talked about and with Frank Arrigo talked about with the will, Crawford, I noticed that our caretaker has erected a structure, a tent or a carport. Is this a temporary thing for the winter? Is it coming down?
Yes, it's temporary for the winter.
Okay, because I don't
Where has
think
he constructed it?
at his house,
It's in its driveway.
in his driveway. Because it really
Does
isn't.
he have relative, I mean, what?
No, it's like a
it's a temporary
carport type
carport
thing,
for
yeah.
the winter.
It's like a plastic
Because
tent.
I'm not sure according to the terms of the will, you're really not allowed to construct anything in the park. You can take things down, but you can't put them up.
Okay, so it's a temporary structure.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else, Councilman Mendocino?
No.
Thank you very much. Councilman Yours?
No comment.
No comment. Thank you very much. Deputy Supervisor Lanova.
2 quick items. Just following up to the comments earlier about Crawford Park and obviously the use and the impact. We wouldn't be so concerned about the impact if we didn't allow the use. So the board is definitely charged with quite a unique decision coming up in the next couple of months. Dave, Councilman Gelfarb was absolutely right. Not everybody's going to be happy, but it's going to be the best decision that we can make for the park. Now, the council, I'm sure, received this correspondence from the Village of Rybrook. It's approximately 20 pages, and it talks about properties in Rybrook that have been identified as 19 properties in Rybrook that have been identified as potential areas that could be used for affordable housing, and in keeping with the county's commitment for 750 units, and the village of Rybrook is one of the villages, one of the municipalities that has to come up with this affordable housing. Now, the town of Rye is in a unique situation, and we've been noted, I guess, in this document that the property at 511 West William Street has been identified as one of the 19 properties, and this is from this December 14th letter. Since then, there was a meeting on January 11th. I guess that was supposed to be the second meeting. And the one thing I'd like to find out, or either instruct the supervisor or the secretary to get an update from the Village of Rybrook to see what their opinion is regarding this property. Because last I heard, town of Rye still owns it. So I'd like to know what their intention is, if West William Street is still in the crosshairs.
This is the garage, right? We're talking about? Right, so,
Well, Elm Hill Park.
Elm Hill Park, rather.
Yeah, well, that's theirs. They